Welcome back to Knucklehead Garage. On this episode, we are turning our attention back to Rat Rob, specifically to get the bed finalized and mounted. For those of you new to the channel, this is our latest project. It is a 1951 International 1-ton pickup truck. It came to me in snowplow / doodlebug form as a parts truck for our 1952 L112 to get that up and running. And then it sat for a little while and I had no idea what to do with it until I found this bed from an F100 on Facebook Marketplace, and I just started going to town to convert this into a rat rod. We've got the 6-inch chop complete. We've got it slammed to the ground as low as we can go, a full 12 inches. We've got air ride wrapped up in the rear end, and now I want to get the bed fully mounted so that we can turn our attention to the front. The first part is figuring out if we can actually reuse the wood that came on this bed. I didn't actually know there was wood under there when I cut that big piece of metal off. And you can actually tell because I have a couple cut marks. I wish I hadn't gone quite as deep, but now it's part of the story. And we've got Ashley, who's gonna help clean them off.
I wanted to.
And Miriam.
Miriam and I are gonna take a dry brush and get all the old gunk off of this. And then we're gonna use some Murphy's oil soap to clean them up and rinse and repeat until they look fairly clean.
No sanding. No planing. These things are fragile.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go in the direction of the grain and just, as Ashley said, get all the crap off. So let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, we ended up using a wire brush because anything less wasn't working. So now the green's coming through and we're gonna use some Murphy's oil soap to get out the rest of the debris. And hopefully they'll be ready to go after that.
All right, let's do it. All right, that was a couple hours. We had all hands on deck. My parents actually stopped by and helped a little bit. I am very psyched how that turned out. I was a little skeptical how the Murphy's oil would work, but clearly we got a lot of dirt off. We're gonna have to figure out, probably put some type of coating on there.
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty excited to find the green paint and patina underneath, so that's exciting and definitely covering that up so it doesn't get lost.
So we're gonna let these guys dry for a couple days, and I'm gonna go back and start structuring the bed, cutting some stuff out so we can get them mounted. First order of business is getting rid of the seesaw by making some clearance for the axles. I need to determine the size and the location of the mouse hole cutouts for the axle. I started by making sure the bed was parallel to the frame while resting on the axle, shimmed the bed, and then made some measurements to figure out how deep the mouse hole cuts needed to be. I also had to finalize the fore-aft placement of the bed, and I noticed a pretty prominent bow in the front surface that I wanted to eliminate. I started with a hammer and just tried to knock it back into place with no luck, so I ended up going back to the come-along, a piece of wood, and an eye hook through a hole that was already existing, and pulled it back into place. Now with these measurements, I could take the bed off, which I could barely do with my wingspan and strength, and get it ready to make the mouse hole cuts, but also to trim the end of the frame. Initially, when I designed this custom C-notch subframe, I didn't know the exact length of these frame members. I also didn't know how I was going to terminate the frame here. I now know both of those things, so it's time to make the final cut on the back of these frame members. When I was fabricating the rest of the frame members, I had the luxury of bringing them to work and just using the horizontal bandsaw and getting some nice precision cuts. I don't have that luxury now because I'm not going to haul this huge thing into work to make those cuts. So I'm going to use an angle grinder to make my life a little bit easier. I just designed up this really simple collar and 3D printed it. So I can slide it onto place and first mark it all the way around with a Sharpie. I might actually even leave it there clamped and make those initial cuts. This thing is made out of plastic, it will melt, but I have one side for this frame member and the other side for that frame member. So hopefully this makes it a little bit easier and I can achieve a little bit better cuts. I started the mouse hole cutouts with a hole saw, something I had hanging around. I think it was 4.5 inches, and it just really wasn't working. It made enough to make a mark so I could transition to the Sawzall, which helped in the straight areas, but I also had to go to the jigsaw to make that curved cut around the top. And of course, like everything else, once you do the first one and you get a method, the second one is super easy and super fast. And it was pretty satisfying to watch the axle tuck up into the bed as I lowered the air ride for the first time. Now that we've got the frame shortened, we've got the mouse holes for the axles done, I got the bed back on here and everything looks good. It's in the final position. It is just very flimsy, probably because of those mouse holes. So Mabel and I, my master fabricator here, are gonna add some structure back to the bed. We're gonna start by just reframing in the bottom and then eventually put kind of like a box spring about 5 inches up where the wood's gonna go. I do have to accommodate obviously the axle, the 4-bar linkage there, and the drive shaft, which isn't installed yet. So you ready to help?
Uh-huh.
All right, let's do it.
I keep on telling you, well, you don't come home from that town. I keep on telling you, well, you don't come home from that town. I keep on telling you, well, you don't come home from that town. I keep on telling you, well, you don't come home from that town. I keep on telling you,
The base of the bed is now restructured, and it is certainly a lot stronger than it was. I picture framed the whole thing with 2x1 by 1/8 inch and welded it to the existing structure that was there. Now that existing structure certainly was not straight, flat, square, or anything, so adding those frame members helped a lot. I first went around and MIG tacked it everywhere and then followed through with TIG just to make sure I got good penetration. It is not square, it is not flat, but it's gonna be a good foundation to build off that second level of the box spring, which I am gonna make sure is perfectly flat and square, and that's gonna be next. But before that, I actually have to turn my attention back to the truck and take a look at the drive shaft. This is the brand new, very custom drive shaft that I just had made up. This side will mount to the truck. This side is going to mount to the rear end. And I started by just taking out the drive shaft that was in the truck and trying to figure out what parts I would need. I also bought a drive shaft on eBay that would mate up to the rear end. And I kind of came to a conclusion that this is something that I should probably go to the experts to help me with. I took both drive shafts over to a shop near me called Mitchell Drivetrain, laid them out on the counter. They quickly came up with a plan on how to put something together that should work. The only thing I needed to do was make sure that I had the right length in all possible stances. So I came back here and measured like 10 different times to make sure I had enough stroke in the slip yoke that they wanted to put in this thing. So I'm gonna mount this thing up and see if it works. I know there's one thing that I'm gonna have to modify right out of the gate. This rear cross brace here is definitely gonna have to go. I'm gonna cut that out. I will have to figure out a way to restructure it, but that's gonna be right in the way of the new drive shaft. So let's get this thing installed so we can move on to the next part of the bed. This is all the way down front and back, and there is about an inch of clearance there, which is definitely enough. It does come above the frame, but not quite as much as the axles. With that information from the truck, I can actually now turn my attention back to the bed over here. I gotta clean all of this stuff out because I wanna get that second bay prepped so that I can build that second level of the box spring on the concrete floor, which is the flattest surface I have. I wanna make sure that thing is flat, square, and ready for the wood and other stuff to be applied. This is where I wish I had a really nice, huge, heavy welding table with clamps. This process was actually kind of a pain to do. I ended up getting it really nice and square, but it took a lot of shimming, a lot of clamping to get it to the point where I wanted it to be. Cal came out at the perfect time to start marking up the bed and actually get this frame in the bed for the first time. It's a little bit higher than I thought originally. As you can see, there is some space above the mouse hole for the axle and the top there. That's to accommodate the disc brake, so I realized that that's gonna have to live somewhere as well. The other thing I've done is I've actually added a angle iron, and that's gonna house the wood. So the wood's gonna slide under there. Cal, you wanna show how that's gonna work? So the end of the wood's gonna be nice and hidden in the back and on the sides. In the front, I'm gonna leave open because you won't really see it because there's some other stuff I'm gonna put in there. Next, I'm gonna have to put some struts between the top and the bottom so I can weld that together and cut out the structure so the axle can actually live in there. And
I might be able to weld too.
Cal's looking forward to welding as well. And then we're gonna be able to put it on the bed, see how it fits, and hopefully actually get some wood in there. So you ready, Cal?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. It is the next day. Yesterday was all about getting the structure back into the bed so that I could actually put it back on the truck. And that's what I did pretty much all day. A lot of cutting, welding, measuring, and now it's back on the bed. I had a friend come over early this morning and get it on there because this thing is getting heavy again now that I have all the structure in here. And now to the fun part, taking those wood boards that we cleaned up and figuring out where they're gonna go. And to do that, my wife came out last night and we took probably 45 minutes trying to figure out where each piece of wood should go. And this is important because I want it to look like it was always there. I want to show the patina, and my wife has a really keen eye for doing this. So we've come up with a plan. I'm going to end up cutting a couple pieces to get around this hump here, which works because there's a couple pieces of wood that need a little bit of trimming that have holes and some rot. So now I've got to take some final measurements and actually start cutting wood, which for some reason is very nerve-wracking because I don't want to screw it up. I've only got a limited number of boards sitting over there. So I've got to add a little bit more structure so that that wood can actually lay on something. The other thing that's really exciting, which I showed a little bit of last episode, this is actually going to be a mullet of a bed. So we're going to have some business going on in the front and then just open in the back for whatever it may be. This is gonna be the business in the front. In one of the last episodes, I showed a gas tank that I was planning on using, a square one from a dozer. I was worried that it wasn't gonna be enough, 9 gallons or so.
Not the biggest tank, I might regret that going forward.
And as soon as this guy popped up on Facebook Marketplace, I jumped on it. This is an expansion tank from a boiler. That is gonna be the new gas tank, and that is about 20 gallons. That'll be more than enough. And then I found this paint sprayer, which I'm basically just gonna use for the tank for the pneumatic system. Now that I've got 2 tanks that I have to mount, I came up with an idea of just making a bracket that'll do both. So I took some measurements, I designed up this bracket, had it fabbed at work, and this is actually the same steel that came out from the bed originally, which I think is very cool. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of prep to make sure that these cylinders can actually fit. I'm gonna have to strip off the compressor here. And I'm gonna have to find a place that this guy can actually mount in the front of the bed. One piece that unfortunately I couldn't salvage were these bed strips. They're just well beyond ever being able to use again. And it took me a while to find bed strips that weren't chrome or that weren't stainless steel, because if you guys are following, that's not the look I'm going for here. And I did find a person on eBay who sells mild carbon steel, which will rust, and I won't do anything to prevent that. It's got the same exact profile as the original strips. So now I think I've got all the pieces to start putting this thing together, and I'm gonna see what it actually is gonna look like, and I am psyched. So let's do it. There's one obvious piece missing here. I tried to figure out what I was gonna do to cover the suspension there. I originally thought of doing wood there, but I quickly realized there was gonna be no wood in the world that completely matched this. So I started looking around my shop for other materials, and I quickly realized I have a ton of material. I just had to pull it down from the wall, bend it up at work, do a little bit of cutting and welding. This is the first time I'm actually doing aluminum welding in the shop, and make something that looks like this. It's gonna look awesome on the truck. And this does a really good job of dividing out this mullet bed where we got the business in the front and the party in the rear. We've got a couple more things we gotta do to fully button this up. I gotta figure out how to strap the tanks down. I'm also gonna figure out how I'm gonna mount that speed bump looking thing.
And I'm gonna finish the wood with a couple of coats of boiled linseed oil.
I'm still thinking about a fender. I actually have one located in South Dakota that a subscriber is hooking me up with, and we're trying to figure out how to actually get it out here in Massachusetts. But we've got tons of other stuff that's going on in the truck as well.
And some really exciting interior work that's gonna be pretty loud.
I'm also planning on doing a full episode on air ride management. I reached out to Airjacks. They hooked me up with this 4-play system. I've also got the panel so I can get all of those gauges in there. But I can't do any of that until I actually turn my attention to the front suspension. And that's actually probably what's gonna be next. I gotta figure out how to add air ride to this thing so I can once again have this be a roller, and I can actually roll it outside. The last thing that I have in the works is going to be adding a turbo to this guy, which is gonna add a tremendous amount of torque and horsepower. This is a huge milestone. It's great to get this one checked off the list and get the bed back in order. We even found a vintage green rusty cooler. That's gonna be great for party time.
It was fun to get the whole family involved in this one. So if you guys like this, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and
we will catch you on the next episode. See you.